From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
And good evening to you here at 7 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. 6 months into the coronavirus pandemic, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb has a message for Hoosiers who might be getting tired of restrictions and the state's mask mandate.
You mask up to stay open. If you care about Main Street, if you care about the economy, you only have to look around into some other places that are doing the opposite, closing down. And so I don't like them either, but it's just a fact of life right now. The virus hasn't changed. It is still uber infectious. It is still ravaging different parts of the country. The virus has not changed. It's we have. And the more that we do, and the more that we do the things that work, the better off we'll be.
Governor Holcomb also says he's looking forward to a good bucket game between IU and Purdue this season now that the Big Ten Conference plans to resume football next month. Conference officials announced today that games will begin the weekend of October 23rd. Schools will now offer tickets to the public. Purdue officials say they're limiting attendance to the families of players and coaches. Anyone on the field for practices and games will be required to undergo daily antigen testing. Today, the Indiana State Department of Health is reporting an additional 12 COVID-19 deaths and 624 new positive cases. The 7-day rate of positive tests was 6.8% between September 3rd and September 9th. Now, we can tell you that 7-day rate of positive tests between 6.8% and September 9th, according to the Regent Street Institute, 2.3% of COVID positive patients have been admitted to the ICU since the pandemic began, and 83% have recovered. New at 7, the Northwest Hendricks School Board has voted to terminate 2 high school administrators amid concerns the couple failed to report sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student. Nathan and Stacy Begley worked as the athletic director and dean of students at Tri-West High School. They're both charged with failure to make a report, which is a misdemeanor. These are charges that they call unfounded. The Begleys have been on paid administrative leave since February when the Department of Education filed a complaint against their teaching licenses. The board voted unanimously Wednesday night to terminate the Begleys' employment with the school district. The board's vice president was not present. The district has not yet responded to our requests asking how much compensation the Begleys have received while on paid leave.
Checking in now with Storm Team meteorologist Alyssa Donovan. Alyssa, a beautiful day outside.
Yeah, you know what, we lucked out. Temperatures were just a little bit above average. We hit the low 80s this afternoon. We saw a little bit of that white haze still outside from that wildfire smoke filtering in from the west. As we head into the evening, temperatures will drop to about 69 degrees by 9 p.m. Overnight, we'll drop into the low 60s and upper 50s by the morning, so not nearly as chilly as we were last night, but don't get used to that. We do have some more chill coming our way in the next couple days here. A cold front is going to drop down from the north overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. That's going to bring us more cloud coverage. Not expecting any showers from this. If anything, maybe a light shower, but most of us will just see that cloud coverage. That's also going to usher in some cooler air into the area, so we are going to see temperatures dropping off a little bit each day as we head towards the weekend. Tomorrow we'll start with those temperatures in the 50s. Our highs will be into the low 70s by the afternoon.
With the general election now less than 50 days away, thousands of absentee ballots are in the mail ready to be filled out. But some voters are concerned that their ballot might not make it to its destination by Election Day. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker is working for you to make sure your vote counts on November 3rd.
Jill Engel tells me her choice to vote by mail was an easy decision.
The primary reason is concern about contracting COVID-19.
Being of a particular age, Jill now falls into the high-risk category for those catching COVID-19 and getting really sick from it or worse.
I anticipate a very large turnout for this presidential election, and I just don't want to stand in line with people that maybe won't wear a mask or people that show up maybe ill, but they're determined to vote.
Like Jill, thousands of other people in central Indiana are planning to vote by mail this year. Marion County has received around 43,000 absentee ballot applications, more than double the 21,000 requested for the 2016 general election. Spurred on by the political back and forth about mail-in voting, some people, like Jill, are worried their ballot might not get counted if they send it back through the mail.
I trust our local mail carrier. It's just what's coming out from Washington that concerns me.
If you share Jill's concerns, you can turn in your mail-in ballot in person to your county's election board at an early voting site or on Election Day at a voting site before noon. Jill says she'll do what's necessary to avoid voting in person.
It's not worth the risk.
Counties are now mailing out ballots. Marion has sent out around 6,000 of them, and an election official tells me that they are going to start counting them, as required by law, on Election Day. But to compensate for the increase, they may start counting them earlier in the day. However, that has not been decided yet. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Important dates for you to keep in mind. To vote in November, you must register by October 5th. To vote by mail, you have to request a ballot by October 22nd. If you're returning your ballot by mail, the Postal Service says give it at least a week to arrive by the noon hour on Election Day, the deadline there. That means that you should put it in the mail by the morning of October 27th. For information on how to request a ballot and all of these deadlines, head to our website at WRTV.com.
In the race for the White House, Joe Biden will answer questions from voters at a town hall tomorrow night, similar to the ABC News town hall President Trump took part in Tuesday. The president focused heavily on what he has done since taking office. Karen Travers explains.
It was a new setting for President Trump, away from his cheering supporters at campaign rallies. A chance for him to reframe this race, but the president largely stuck to a familiar message.
With the U.S. nearing 200,000 deaths from COVID-19, President Trump is defending his response.
So you regret nothing? No, I think we did a great job.
During a special ABC News 2020 town hall in Philadelphia, the president focused heavily on what he has done since taking office, instead of making his sales pitch for what he will do if given 4 more years in the White House. Jim Rodesky voted for Mr. Trump in 2016 and asked him what he would do differently if reelected to create a more unified message.
I'm fighting a lot of forces. Sometimes you don't have time to be totally, as you would say, presidential. You have to get things done.
Pastor Carl Day from Philadelphia pushed the president on race and income inequality.
Well, the income inequality, which I agree with you, is a problem. I always agreed with that. But if you look under President Obama and Biden, the income inequality was phenomenal. It was record-setting. It was It's getting worse now.
This week, President Trump holds campaign rallies in Wisconsin and Minnesota. A new poll from ABC News and the Washington Post shows Joe Biden leading the president in both of those battleground states. And the Biden campaign announcing it's spending more than $65 million on TV and digital ads just this week. Team Biden's message focusing on health care.
Donald Trump is looking to roll back those protections for pre-existing conditions in the middle of a pandemic. It's mind-blowing.
Joe Biden follows President Trump. He'll do a town hall event with voters in Pennsylvania on Thursday. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Some central Indiana families need a hand supervising remote learning that many districts are using to keep kids safe, especially if parents work during the day or face technology hurdles. An organization called the Mind Trust set up community learning sites across Indianapolis to help. WRTV's Stephanie Wade stopped by one on the Far East Side that's helping hundreds of families.
How do you make the A?
See the A? See the A? Remember how you made the A?
Kids from all across the city.
Step.
Yeah. Oh, that's an excellent B. Good job.
From not just one school district.
We got K through 8, and we have 14 different schools represented here. Charter schools, IPS schools, Warren Township schools.
E-learning under this one roof.
It's fun.
And what's the main letter we were learning today? T?
T.
Everything we had to do was like strictly on the job training, so we had to figure out a lot on the fly.
The Reset Center on the Far East Side was asked by the Mind Trust to turn their facility into a community learning site. Once schools decided just days before the school year began to go fully virtual.
The Mind Trust contacted us on, I believe it was around August 10th, and they said, we need your help. We want you to partner with us to set up a center for e-learning, and it needs to be ready on August 17th. It was like, what?
Students all with various schedules, learning levels, and requirements throughout the day.
I struggle on like fractions and stuff, so the adult helped me on that.
The center contacted the schools themselves to coordinate everything for the kids.
I kind of like working back here because I can focus better than being at home because I have a lot going on at home, so being here helps me focus.
I like that I can hang out with friends and make sure I'm on my work when I'm supposed to.
I have a very qualified staff to help them do what they need to do, and we're hands-on.
Providing lunch daily and snacks too.
Who all doesn't have a meal? Raise your hand.
This service is critical for so many families who lost jobs or work during the day.
There's a benefit to the kids, the families, because some of these people are struggling and they can't afford Wi-Fi, but they can drop their kids off here and be on, Wi-Fi with a strong signal and don't miss a beat, with respect to their school.
Making sure families bounce back from the pandemic once this trying time is all over.
Coming together and working together, it'll work, but that's the nature of our country. I mean, we're a resilient country and we'll rise from this as well.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
The Reset Center is always looking for more volunteers or donations. To learn more, you can visit their website at theresetcenter.com.
Sally is now a tropical storm, but it still left plenty of damage behind. The scenes from Sally's landfall coming up here.
And as the world waits on a coronavirus vaccine, one health leader says you may already be doing something more effective than a vaccine. What to keep doing to stop the virus. Still ahead when WRTV News at 7 continues.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
The world is waiting for a COVID-19 vaccine, but the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says millions of us are already doing something that could be even more effective against coronavirus than a vaccine. Dr. Robert Redfield was talking about wearing a mask. He made the comment today to the Senate Appropriations Committee.
Face masks, these face masks are the most important, powerful public health tool we have. And I will continue to appeal for all Americans, all individuals in our country, to embrace these face coverings. I've said it, if we did it for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, we'd bring this pandemic under control. These actually, we have clear scientific evidence they work, and they are our best defense. I might even go so far as to say that this face mask is more guaranteed to protect me against COVID than when I take a COVID vaccine.
Dr. Redfield went on to say that even if a COVID-19 vaccine was released today, it would take 6 to 9 months for enough people to get it to create immunity. And he doesn't think one will be readily available to the general public until the middle of next year.
And we've had some gorgeous weather today. Going to see those temperatures dropping off quite a bit, though, over the next couple days, well below average. It's going to feel a lot like fall. I'll have all the details coming up next.
Tonight, Sally has been downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm, but it still poses major flooding threats as it moves inland. Now, we can tell you that the Sally, we're getting a look at some of the damage the storm did to the Gulf Coast. Take a look at this. In Orange Beach, Alabama, a condo complex's homes are safe, but the marina was badly damaged. Residents say the water was 7 to 8 feet higher during the storm. Boats were tossed around with tree limbs and debris. Quite a sight to see, and we're hearing that some states on this path could be getting plenty of flooding, even though it's no longer a hurricane, Alyssa.
That's right. It has been downgraded into a tropical storm, and eventually it will be downgraded into a tropical depression as it continues across the state line into Georgia and eventually into the Carolinas. Likely won't reach the Carolinas, though, until Friday, and that's because this is such a slow-moving storm. When it made landfall, it was about 2 miles per hour with that forward movement. It's picked up a little speed with 5 miles per hour. The problem with that, though, is when it is moving that slowly, when a hurricane is moving that slowly, it has the potential to bring torrential downpours, and that's exactly what it is doing as it moves across the southeast, bringing flooding concerns up to 10 to 20 inches of rainfall in some of these areas. Some areas starting to measure just in feet as that continues to track across the area. Keep in mind, a typical hurricane moves at about 10 to 35 miles per hour. So this is an extremely slow moving storm that we're keeping an eye on. Now, often we do see some of the remnants from hurricanes make their way into Indiana. That's not going to be the case with Hurricane Sally. It's actually going to continue to veer off to the right and right back out into the Atlantic before it can really impact much of the Midwest. What we are going to see is just the potential for some some cloud coverage for southern counties as that moves closer to the state. But really what we're concentrating on is this cold front that's moving in from the north. That's going to sweep through tonight and into tomorrow morning, bringing us a little bit more cloud coverage. Not expecting any rainfall. If anything, a light shower. Unfortunately, we really do need that rain. We are seeing one of the driest Septembers on record. Less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall has fallen across the state. So we're keeping an eye on that. And then we are going to see much cooler air settle in behind that. Temperatures today, very warm, 80 degrees for our high. Tomorrow, not going to be the same case. We're going to start with those temperatures in the 50s tomorrow morning. Mostly cloudy skies, 72 degrees for the high. Looking at our 7-day forecast, continuing to see those temperatures drop off Friday and Saturday. Highs only in the 60s, and then our overnight lows next week in the 40s.
Thanks, Alyssa. A Wayne Township neighborhood is the latest group trying to keep 5G cell phone towers out of their front yards. Working for you, WRTV's Troy Washington shows us why neighbors are so worried and how these towers can be built near your property without your permission.
These orange signs are posted throughout the Westwood neighborhood.
I started taking my walks about a month or so ago and saw the signs and just figured that it was announcing a public hearing. Had no idea that that's exactly where they were going to put the towers.
John Casal has been living in Westwood for 24 years now. Even he didn't look close enough at these small signs to see what's really on the way.
I had no idea that that's exactly where the towers were going to go. I just thought it was announcing in the hearing to talk about it.
You have to look really closely, but this is set to be one of the 5G cell tower sites for Verizon Wireless. At this point, it's beyond the talking process. The towers are on the way. If residents aren't loud enough about their disapproval, and even then, it's still not an easy fight.
I know it's supposed to make your phone faster, but had no idea that they would put towers in neighborhoods like that.
Residents have mixed emotions about it. They say on one hand, they're excited about the possible improved cell service. On the other, they're not too thrilled about having a giant metal pole right outside of their homes.
I'm not too sure about the things that I've heard about this 5G towers. Like I said, there's nothing good that I've heard about it. But if I was to just go off of hearsay of what I know or what I've heard, I don't want it right here.
In fact, Dontrell Gideon just found out his family will be living right across the street from a tower.
I've heard there are cancer causing.
Verizon Wireless tells us there is no validity to that claim. In fact, radio frequency energy used by 5G has not been shown to cause health problems.
You would think they would put something like that away from the neighborhood.
This is only the latest neighborhood trying to keep the towers out of their front yards, but with the 5G equipment rolling out all across Indianapolis, it seems homeowners are left powerless and caught off guard by the additions.
Maybe if they put something in everybody's mailbox that this is what was going to happen, explaining it, not just, put an orange sign and, hey, we're going to put some towers here.
On September 22nd, residents are invited to the city-county building to make sure their voices are heard. Working for you in Wayne Township, Troy Washington, WRTV.
This is happening in part because of Senate Bill 213. That bill passed the legislature back in 2017 and authorized a massive rollout of small cell wireless structures all over the state. We'll be right back. Welcome back. One of the world's biggest T-Rex skeletons is up for sale if you're looking to make a big investment. Stan the Tyrannosaurus Rex walked the earth some 67 million years ago. Now his skeleton will be displayed at Christie's in New York before he's auctioned off on October 6th. He's expected to sell for $6 to $8 million. Stan is 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, and made up of 188 bones. The first of Stan's bones were found in parts of Montana, North and South Dakota, and Wyoming in 1987. Christmas is around the corner, Alyssa.
Is that what you want? I'll get that for you. I have a nice forecast for you at least. Temperatures tomorrow in the 70s. We'll see partly sunny skies, and then we're going to drop off even more. Friday and Saturday only in the upper 60s for our daytime highs.
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. We'll be back at 11.